Well, sure. That's the same reason a lot of people voted for Trump here in the United States. A lot of white working class people feel like they were born into a very different country. I know I do. I feel that way myself. I'm white and not that far from my forebears' working class origins. And the country I grew up in the 1960s, it was and into the 70s. It really changed radically. And I think it changed the most sort of when I was a teenager in the 70s. Manners and morals have grotesquely declined. And along with these various forms of civilizational decline, we've seen the demographic decline of what some people call the white race, which I don't even believe exists, but it's a kind of a term that covers these people from sort of the northwest fringes of the Eurasian continent. Eurasia is one continent. There's no such thing as Europe. There's no such thing as Asia. It's obviously one continent, but this is the way people think. Anyway, so here in the United States, a lot of folks have this sense that the decline of the white people and the incoming of all these hordes from Mexico and the increase in the percentage of the population of African Americans and all this sort of thing, along with a lot of other stuff that I don't like either, such as the decline in manners and morals. All of this has made this a very different country. And I do sympathize with that to some extent. And I can imagine how some people in Britain would feel the same way. But it's important not to allow kind of a just sense of being worried about this situation we're in, this declining civilization. It's declining in so many ways, and we need to be clear about what's really going on, what are the real causes of it, and we need to stay away from falling into this kind of scapegoating that, as you said, just plays into the divide and conquer agenda of the people who are behind a lot of the problems that we're talking about. And scapegoating Muslims is the simplest thing to do these days because the entire population of the West and large part of the world has been brainwashed at a level below the surface of consciousness by the 9/11 inside job mind control operation designed to implant Islamophobia deep into the subconscious minds of the population. And so people instantly, as soon as they see these incredibly un-Islamic criminals doing these incredibly un-Islamic things, they blame Islam, not because Islam has anything to do with this, but because their brains have been injected with this horrible toxin by the 9/11 operation and the subsequent follow-up false flags, including 7/7 right there in London.